All right, Ronan MMA, welcome back to the channel. We are going to be doing another fight film breakdown with a common opponent. We are going to be looking at Kamaru Usman versus Gilbert Burns and Khamzat Chimaev versus Gilbert Burns, considering that the rumors seem to be pretty strong that Kamaru Usman and Khamzat Chimaev are going to face off in October in Abu Dhabi at welterweight. I think that this is a relevant opponent to look at. Now, I just want to preface, obviously, this is not like bulletproof. This is not a method of picking a fight. I'm not doing MMA math where I say, oh, this guy beat this guy better than this guy did, therefore he's going to win. But what I am going to do is you can look at a particular skill set that Gilbert Burns has, and then we can look at how a guy like Khamzat deals with that and how a guy like Kamaru Usman deals with that, and then we can take those attributes, those successes and struggles, and kind of lump them all together and see how they might do against one another. One thing that I've noticed, Kamaru Usman's very good at fighting long, right? Jabs, straight rights. When he switches to southpaw, obviously jabs, straight lefts, and teep kicks, things of this nature. He is a very linear attack, like his attacks are very linear based. He throws straight punches. He's not very good in the pocket, which could be relevant because Khamzat Chimaev is almost the exact opposite. While he had a massive reach on Gilbert Burns, he wanted to get in the pocket and fight. Like, that's where he likes to do his damages in close range. Now, before anybody says, well, Khamzat Chimaev just wanted to have a tough fight, he wanted to prove that he could go 3 rounds and have a tough war and all this and that, I don't agree with that. I'm not attacking you personally. I just completely disagree with that argument. Okay, I think that that's the same sort of argument that John Jones fans make regarding Dominic Reyes and Thiago Santos, where they say, oh, he was just bored. I don't agree. I think Khamzat, he had to deal with a level of resistance on the ground that he was not used to with Gilbert Burns. We're going to get to that later. And yeah, we're going to first look at Usman versus Burns, and then we will look at Khamzat Chimaev versus Gilbert Burns. So here we are. I'm going to make myself smaller. And we are in round number 1, 4 minutes and 34 seconds. Okay, this is when Usman gets hurt from Burns. He has trouble early on, but we're going to see how he deals with this and then compare that to how Khamzat Chimaev deals with a guy like Gilbert Burns. Okay, so we're going to start it here. So Kamaru Usman circling towards the power side of Gilbert Burns, a guy who is known for throwing massive overhand rights. Okay, he feints a level change, does it again. Gilbert Burns doesn't seem to be all that concerned about getting taken down. He's literally lifting his legs up, as opposed to when guys don't want to get taken down, they might lower their stance a little bit, spread their legs a little more wide. His are completely like almost touching, and he's lifting up his front leg, almost like he's baiting a takedown. I think he knows that if it went to the mat, he would have no problem dealing with Kamaru Usman in the grappling realm. Okay, and then here is a mistake from Usman. Steps to the left with a stiff jab, and Burns is already loading up with that big right hand, and he nails him with it. Okay, and down goes Usman. Now, not a real knockdown, and you can already see Usman's head is slightly tilted towards Burns. He is very aware of what is happening. He knows he just got hurt. It was not a complete knockdown. Obviously, he caught himself, and then he gets bum rushed by Burns, but he holds on for safety, which is just high fight IQ from Kamaru Usman. Okay, and then we see Gilbert Burns wind up with a big uppercut. I don't know if Usman was shooting for a takedown or if he was just trying to slip a jab or an overhand or what was going on, but he dipped right into that and got hurt yet again. Still, though, immediately sticking out that jab, fighting long. You know, he doesn't abandon his game plan if it doesn't work early on. He finds and makes small adjustments to allow that game plan to work. So he starts, hit again, dude, over the top. He has a lot of trouble finding Burns' range here. Burns is going all out. And I know a lot of people like to say that Gilbert Burns was emotional and all this stuff, but I mean, this doesn't look like somebody who's compromised by emotion to me. It looks like I think he might know that Kamaru Usman has problems with guys that aggressively bum rush him. Like, he needs time to find his range and figure shit out. Khamzat Chimaev is a very aggressive individual. I could absolutely see Khamzat Chimaev just bum rushing Usman and him having trouble dealing with the range and things like this of Khamzat Chimaev. He gets hit again. He has now been stung like 3 or 4 times in this opening minute, okay, and still sticking to the game plan. Jab. Like, beautiful jab. Usman, you know, his striking is not fantastic, obviously. Not like an A tier or S tier striker, but his jab is fucking phenomenal. Okay, now I'm going to skip ahead 5 seconds. I think we all know this by now. Kamaru Usman slightly susceptible to head kicks. Now he's probably fixed this since this was a while ago, obviously, and then we saw Leon Edwards knock him out. So he's probably fixed this this hole in his game, which actually we did see against Leon Edwards. He was able to block them. Pause with the left hand, head kick. That lands. You know what I mean? It didn't land perfectly or flush, and it kind of ended up on the shoulder of Usman, and he's able to knock Burns off balance. So it doesn't have as much power as like the one that Leon Edwards landed by any means. But you know, something that Burns was aware of, and he does not want a fucking thing to do with Gilbert Burns on the ground, and I believe that Khamzat Chimaev didn't either, but we will get to that later. I'm going to skip ahead now to 2 minutes and 17 seconds on the clock. 2:18 will work, okay? Now, Usman lands a good right hand there. This guy has an incredible fucking chin, and I don't think it gets talked about enough. Look at this shit, dude. Gadoosh. Okay? Just he got stung there for sure, but he's totally fucking fine, and he just keeps going, and you know, clinches up to avoid any further attacks. It's very impressive from Kamaru Usman. And then we'll skip ahead 5 seconds. 2:07, right? You know, he just got hurt with a knee, had to clinch up, but what does he do? Immediately back to the game plan. That jab is fucking money, dude. Right on the button. That wobbles Gilbert Burns there. That is a beautiful, beautiful fucking jab. We're going to skip ahead now, okay? He gets cracked one more time. He has a lot of issues figuring out the range of Gilbert Burns here, but we are going to see how he deals with that in round number 2. Big left, okay, from Gilbert Burns. Hurts Usman. Stuns him a bit. As we've seen multiple times now, we are going to, and actually that was off of a leg kick too, wasn't it? We're going to watch that back because he timed that very well, I think. Yep, off of a leg kick. So Usman was also off balance trying to land a leg kick. That was a beautiful punch from Gilbert Burns. We're going to skip ahead now to 133. Will work, okay? And then we see this is an attack. This is one of the attacks I was talking about that Usman's really good at staying long with. Okay, he likes to use teep kicks. Now, I don't know that he will be using those against Khamzat Chimaev because the threat of the takedown is very fucking apparent, and he knows that if he does this kick, Khamzat can catch the leg and run it back for a takedown. But he does this kick very, very well, and he also switched to southpaw to throw it so that it lands on the liver side of Gilbert Burns. And dude, I mean, I don't want to get kicked with that. That is perfect. He digs those toes in hard. Okay, that is a beautiful kick. We are now going to skip ahead to 113 on the clock. Usman still gets cracked again. Herb Dean, your fat fucking head is in the way. He can't figure out the range in this first round, right? Like, this first round is not going super good for Usman. I mean, he lands some stuff of his own, but, you know, and we're going to see that actually right there. Big straight, big right straight. Beautiful stuff from Kamaru Usman. Now we are going to skip ahead and jab. I'm glad I went the extra second. We are now going to go to round number 2, okay? Okay, so in that first round, right, Burns kind of rushed him, and Usman had trouble figuring out the range. Burns landed a lot of fucking shots. What we are going to see now is the adjustment he just made. And maybe, you know, Trevor Whitman has something to do with this. Maybe some good corner advice. Burns tries to do the same sort of thing, right? This is beautiful stuff from Usman. Man, if you watch my channel, you know I don't really like Kamaru Usman. Credit where it's due, okay? That does not land, right? That goes off glove. He's realized I need to get a little bit further away. Okay, that goes off glove. That goes off arm, right? So that barrage, nothing real landed there, which is fantastic, okay? Also, keep in mind, guys, this is in the apex. They're in a small cage. Usman's got, you know, it's harder for him to back up and get away to be long from his opponent because just a few steps, your fucking back's up against the cage. We're going to skip ahead to right here. Now we see the jab of Usman coming back, okay? Because that's the game plan, and I'm not going to fucking let it go. And he gets out of the way of that leg kick, whereas in the first round, Burns was landing that at will. Jab immediately, dude. Like, this is good stuff from Usman, okay? And look at this coming up next. His defense from round 1 to round 2 changed entirely. Beautiful jab from Usman once again. Staying much further away. Look at the space in between their lead legs. Usman's way further than he was in that first round there. He is maintaining a safe distance. And we will see that in just a second, right? Look at that. Just out of the way. Just out of the way. Just enough, right? He's found his range now. And then we see Burns start to have some issues, and he sticks him with a beautiful fucking jab right after. We are now going to skip ahead to 2 minutes, 50 seconds on the clock. 2:52 will do, okay? Gilbert Burns' kryptonite is what, dude? Straight punches, usually jabs, but jab, okay? Burns touches him, but Usman was also moving back, so he took some of the power off that, right? A little bop on the nose, no problem. This, though, is phenomenal, okay? Feints a jab, Burns goes to parry. Burns goes to toss a jab. Look at Usman. Just out of the way. That is fucking beautiful with a what now? Stunning pullback right hand, okay? He figured out the range. He made the adjustment. He stuck to his game plan and made it work. This is something that he is very good at, and not a lot of guys do that, okay? Guys will get discouraged if their game plan doesn't work, and we get the same sort of drop situation that we had from Usman, where they're able to catch themselves, but you know, still hurt. Doesn't count as a knockdown, but you know, clearly Gilbert Burns got hurt. We're gonna skip ahead to 1:30 on the clock. Right here. Okay, we get another good exchange. Beautiful straight left from Usman. Burns eats it. Switches back to orthodox. This is something that Kamaru Usman actually, dude, his striking is not like S tier, A tier. There are a few things though that are very, very, very high level that he does. His stance switches are very fluid. There are a lot of guys who, when they switch stances, if say their dominant position or dominant stance is an orthodox, they will have a very easy time making the switch to southpaw, right? And the way that I compare this, but when they go to switch back, it's a little less fluid. They have to take an extra step. The way that I compare it is, you know, the first one, orthodox to southpaw, is like a U-turn, whereas trying to switch back becomes like a 3-point turn. They've got to take an extra step to get there. Kamaru Usman does not. He just steps through very fluidly. It is very good, and it confuses your opponent. The range becomes different. The range for certain attacks becomes different, and it's just a good way to throw your opponent off. And then he continues to stick him with the jab. Burns goes to load up on a right hand, but Usman is aware of it and gets out of the way because he has made adjustments, and he is, you know, very defensively sound now. And it's good stuff from Kamaru Usman. We love to see it, okay? And then we get Burns feinting a knee or some shit coming over the top of the right hand. Look at that, dude. Look at that. Just enough out of the way. That is beautiful movement from Kamaru Usman, who is not, his first discipline was not striking, right? Like, this isn't something that he had to pick this up later on in life. Beautiful jab, and that hurts Burns badly, okay? And then we get the funky bullshit going on where he's just hitting him to the legs and to the body because Burns doesn't want to get up. He wants Usman to come down with him. Usman wants fucking none of that, though. So now we are going to skip ahead to round number 3. All right, here we are, round number 3, 4:44 on the clock, and what happens, we all know, dude. This is the beginning of the end for Gilbert Burns. Whiffs on a leg kick. Usman switches back into southpaw, sticks him with a beautiful jab, okay, and drops Burns on his ass, and then, you know, he closes the show. So, you know, just to summarize, again, very good long linear attacks. Had trouble finding the range early on, but stuck with the game plan, made some adjustments, made it work for him, and fucking systematically broke Gilbert Burns down, okay? And I'll put the strike differential numbers up on the screen, but dude, like that first round, and then you see the next round after that, the stats show that he figured it out, and he realized his range, and he was very defensively sound. We saw him just slip out of the way enough, being able to do beautiful pullback right hand counter. Amazing stuff from Kamaru Usman, okay? So we are now going to take a look at Khamzat Chimaev versus Gilbert Burns and how he was able to deal with Gilbert Burns. All right, here we are, round number 1, 454 on the clock, pardon me, of Khamzat Chimaev versus Gilbert Burns. Now, before we start, okay, a lot of people like to say, Khamzat Fanzad is, and I'm not attacking you guys personally, okay? So chill out, don't get too mad. They like to say, oh, he could have taken him down and just smashed him, and it would have been easy, but he wanted to go through a tough fight. He wanted to prove that he could do it. Fucking bullshit, dude, okay? He tried on multiple occasions to take Burns down, got him down a couple of times, was met with a level of resistance that was too much for him, whether he wanted to conserve his gas tank or he wanted to, or he felt the danger that Gilbert Burns had down on the ground, because we see it on multiple occasions. And not only that, we see Khamzat, he's still able to fight fine, but there are certain things that show me that he was fatigued and about halfway through the second round. So if he were to expend more energy trying to grapple with a guy like Gilbert Burns, who was meeting him with a certain level of resistance, I don't think it would have went well for him. You know what I mean? I think he would have really gassed out. So that's my theory on this, but we're going to take a look at what happens here, okay? He shoots a takedown almost right away, feints with the jab, comes with an overhand right, kind of gets tagged by a behind-the-head shot from Gilbert Burns, and immediately goes into a takedown. And then we see him literally struggle for a good 30 seconds, 20 seconds even. Gilbert Burns is tough for him to take down. And now, again, I know that I know that Burns has an incredible jiu-jitsu game and is dangerous on the ground, whereas Kamaru Usman is not, right? Kamaru Usman does not have a good jiu-jitsu game. He does not have a good submission game. What he does have, though, is a good wrestling pedigree. And I think that if Burns is this hard for Khamzat Chimaev to take down, I don't know that he's going to have an easy time taking down Kamaru Usman. If he gets Usman down, I could actually see him smashing him, because Usman doesn't really have the grappling to go with the wrestling, but the takedown defense of Kamaru Usman is very good, and we know this. We've seen multiple people try to take him down on multiple occasions. The only guy who was able to successfully take him down, hold him down, and do anything with it was Leon Edwards in their first fight in that first round. Okay, so then we see Khamzat Chimaev does some low bow nickel nut shots here, trying to assist him in getting the takedown, which I don't like too much, but that's all right, dude, because Gilbert Burns is a savage and he just fucking deals with it. And I'm just gonna keep pausing in an attempt to not get a copyright, because do you know how fucking annoying that is to deal with? Look at that, dude. That ain't inside leg. That's fucking nuts all day, dude. And Burns even looks up at the ref like, hey, bro, what the fuck? And as he's doing so, what do we get? Another one, dude. And another one. What are you doing, Khamzat? Come on now, dude. You ain't no bow nickel bullshit, okay? Clean nut shots. Now we're going to skip just a few seconds here because they're struggling in the clinch for a bit. Khamzat is finally able to get him down, okay? And we have been in this struggle since the first 6 seconds. So he's been, trying for damn near 30 seconds. Drops his level, goes for a takedown. Burns doesn't really have an opportunity to sprawl that well because he's up against the cage. And Khamzat is finally able, finally able to get him down. Gilbert was already hooking a leg. This is and posting, look at this, dude. He is having such a hard fucking time getting down a guy that used to fight at fucking lightweight. And Khamzat Chimaev has fought at middleweight on multiple occasions. That's a 30-pound fucking difference, okay? Khamzat Chimaev is a fucking giant compared to Gilbert Burns. He's got 4 inches of height. He's got a bunch of reach on him, and he struggled this much getting Gilbert Burns to the ground. And Kamaru Usman is not only bigger than Gilbert Burns, but has a wrestling pedigree, okay? And this is insane. He didn't even fully get him down yet, really, dude. He's on his fucking knees, dude. When does he get him down, dude? I don't even remember in my notes. Now Khamzat's trying to hook his leg, not allow him to get out. Let's go, Khamzat. Take him the fuck down, dude. I'm waiting on you. Come on, bro. I don't want to skip ahead and miss it. Okay, Khamzat finally drags him to the ground. Gilbert Burns' ass touches the mat, but guess what? 10 seconds later, he's on his fucking feet. And Khamzat Chimaev did basically no goddamn damage, okay? And then they hit the mat once more. But it was not initiated by Khamzat Chimaev. While he is trying to take him down here, Gilbert Burns does, he does this. This is Burns doing this. He drops, tries to do a roll, tries to get out of here. And then we get a little bit of action going on the ground, but not much. And honestly, dude, Gilbert Burns lands some good shots. He's able to... This is what I'm talking about. Khamzat Chimaev was met with a level of resistance that he is not used to. Gilbert Burns is not Li Jingliang. Gilbert Burns is not Kevin Holland. Gilbert Burns has a phenomenal jiu-jitsu game. And look at this. He's immediately butterflies, right? Trying to control the posture, landing hammer fists, tricky with his legs. Like, Khamzat goes, yeah, you know what? Fuck this. And gets up, dude. He didn't, that was not, oh, I could be here and smash him on the ground, but I want to fight instead. That's not what the fuck that was, dude. Amanda Nunes said that bullshit against fucking Juliana Pena in the second fight, and everybody shat on her. And to be fair, Khamzat Chimaev is not even the one making this argument. This is his fans. And I'm not trying to shit on you guys if you are ones that made that argument, but it is not true, okay? Gilbert Burns was dangerous on the ground. Khamzat Chimaev did not want anything to do with it, okay? 10 seconds later, he gets up. The ref has to separate them because Khamzat backed up. Like, he didn't want nothing to do with it. We're going to skip ahead 20 seconds. Okay, Gilbert lands a good leg kick here on Chimaev. See, Chimaev has trouble figuring out the range at first also, but he never really figures it out because, as I said in the opening, he's not a long fighter. While he could be, he's very tall. He's got a good reach. He likes to do his damage in the pocket. It reminds me of Shavkat Rakhmonov. We saw Shavkat Rakhmonov against Jeff Neal have issues because he likes to get into the pocket. He's in the danger zone and his head movement is a little lacking. Now, obviously, Shavkat Rakhmonov is amazing, but still. And then we see Khamzat Chimaev with his own leg kick, but Burns lands a good left hand and a straight right that just fucking misses. Okay. Beautiful stuff from Gilbert Burns. And then we get Khamzat Chimaev fainting in. This is another thing too. Khamzat Chimaev, like, people act like he was fighting stupid and that this was a brawl. There are multiple times in this fight where Khamzat Chimaev makes really good reads, and it shows that he's like cognitively aware of what's going on. He's not just throwing to throw. Okay, so I don't like that argument either. Jab blocked by Burns, which is fantastic. Actually, it might have split the guard. Long right hand from Chimaev, and boom, dude. Ba-boom. Beautiful right hand counter. Chimaev's got a hell of a fucking chin also, dude. Actually, fantastic. We're going to skip ahead now to right here, I guess. I want it to go a little farther, but that's all right, dude. Gilbert lands a good right hand here, countering a leg kick, which is good stuff from Burns. We saw him do that against Kamaru Usman multiple times. His timing is very good on that. Cracks him. That might have landed on chin, might have landed on chest. Can't tell. Khamzat's beard is kind of in the way. His chin's tucked, so even if it did, it wouldn't have been the worst shot anyways. And then we see Burns land a jab of his own. Maybe he realized, hey, all these guys are fucking hurting me with jabs. Why don't I use them, okay? Then we skip ahead 10 seconds. Khamzat throws a jab that gets blocked, and look at that. Left hook already. Dude, Burns is fucking instinctual with that shit. He is very good at countering. But Khamzat Chimaev still, again, having trouble figuring out the range. He gets really close into the pocket, even though he's the much longer, much taller fighter. It's just not something that he wants to do, okay? And then we are going to wait until we get an opportune moment on the clock so that I can skip ahead and not fuck up. Okay, here we go. 1:41 on the clock, okay? Khamzat's coming at Gilbert with a flurry. Now that jab lands, splits the guard a little bit. Right hand blocked. Left hand miss. Right hand over the back. Big right hook, dude. Khamzat missed all of his fucking shots. Burns countered with a beautiful right hand. Khamzat Chimaev, what a fucking chin does this guy have, okay? Jesus Christ, we are now going to skip ahead to 57 seconds on the clock, okay? Khamzat Chimaev. In southpaw, right? Throwing it, so he switched stances. We saw Usman drop Burns with a jab from southpaw. And Khamzat Chimaev is about to do the same. Steps in with a strong jab. The only problem is, look where his hand goes. Okay, you'll notice throughout this fight, we'll see it in the other rounds. When he's an orthodox and he throws a jab, his jab hand comes back to his face, which is what it's supposed to do. Okay, I understand that some guys have different styles like Wonder Boy, and his hand's fucking never going to be up there. Khamzat Chimaev has his guard up like this. When he throws a jab in orthodox, it comes back to his face. When he throws a jab in southpaw, it goes down to his hip before it comes back up. It's not ideal, but he drops him, so it's a beautiful jab. And good stuff from Khamzat Chimaev. But look at this, dude. Again, we see, so he just dropped him, right? Burns is hurt, okay? And Khamzat Chimaev is landing some good shots, getting some ground and pound. That was a good one right there, okay? But look at this. Swiveling the hips already is Gilbert Burns. Okay, locking. He's got his closed guard. He lands a good hammer fist there. He does this multiple times throughout this fight. He lands a good one there too. Khamzat's just kind of throwing, not even looking. I mean, some of them are going off gloves. Some of them are landing. Some of them are missing. Burns swivels the hips. Look at this, trying to latch up a triangle or an armbar. Khamzat Chimaev's like, fuck that shit. And then Burns does something kind of illegal right there. But thank God Khamzat Chimaev is nothing like Aljamain fucking Sterling, and we still got to see the rest of this fight, okay? Because he kicks him off while Khamzat's grounded, and Khamzat gets up because he doesn't want a fucking thing to do with him on the ground. It was not that he could have, but he wanted to fight. It was that he didn't want to deal with Burns on the ground. He's too fucking dangerous in terms of submission, okay? This is something that Khamzat Chimaev could use against Kamaru Usman. Look, fucking beautiful leg kick, dude. Jesus Christ, okay? That was a good one. Buckled Burns' legs, okay? And then we get... This is one of my favorite shots of this entire round, and I wish that guys would do this more often because goddamn is it effective, especially on a guy who cuts a ton of fucking weight, okay? Look at this shit from Gilbert Burns. This is beauty. Digs. That left hook beautifully, perfectly placed. And Khamzat Chimaev not only has a hell of a chin, he's got a hell of a liver, okay? We are now going to skip ahead to round number 2. All right, here we are, round number 2. 4:53 on the clock. We see Khamzat Chimaev go back to that chopping leg kick. He can absolutely use this against Kamaru Usman. Usman's calves are skinny. He's susceptible to kicks in general, okay? He seems to have problems with body kicks, leg kicks. Obviously, he had the problem with the fucking head kick, but I just could see him using this on Usman, and I feel as though it would be quite effective. We're going to skip ahead a few seconds here. Gilbert Burns, actually, look at this shit, dude. He shoots a takedown. And on MMA rules, he doesn't get it. And now I'm no fucking like college wrestling geek or anything like that. And I don't mean geek in a derogatory way. I'm a geek in many other ways. But what I do mean is I don't know if this would count as a takedown in wrestling. I am not like a big wrestling viewer. So I hear DC complaining about them sometimes, how they don't score takedowns as takedowns because there was no control. But Khamzat Chimaev's knees touched the fucking mat. And Gilbert Burns had way less resistance getting him down than Khamzat Chimaev had getting Burns down. Okay, we are going to skip ahead to 4:30 on the clock. Fuck. All right, well, Burns' little stutter step. This is nice, actually. I really like what he does here. A little shades of Jorge Masvidal on Darren Till, okay? Steps through into southpaw and comes over the top of the right hook. My camera's in the fucking way. What the fuck? It misses, but still a nice little, addition to the game of Gilbert Burns. But Khamzat, and again, like that's a good. I appreciate that. Khamzat Chimaev has a big reach advantage over Gilbert Burns. He used that to close the distance quite effectively, and while he missed, it was still nice to watch. Okay. Now Khamzat Chimaev makes a very good read here, and this is what I'm talking about. He is not just brawling. He is not just throwing to throw. He is making reads. He drops his level and throws a jab to the body. But what did Burns' hand do? We're gonna go back. I want you guys to see this. Okay, Khamzat Chimaev. They're feinting at each other. Drops his level. Okay, Burns has a high guard, but when he drops his level to throw a jab, Burns' lead hand comes out to parry. I fucking talk about this all the time. Don't parry with your lead hand, especially not if you're going to do a massive action like that. If you're going to like try and deflect, misdirect a jab or something like that, maybe. But if you're gonna fucking like bop as if you're trying to parry a leg kick or some shit, you're leaving yourself open. Noted by Khamzat, and this is what I'm talking about, man. He is not just throwing to throw. He's not just brawling, because what does he do? Drops his level, feints the jab, Burns' hand comes out to meet it, and he fucking goes over the top with a beautiful right hand. Very nice stuff from Khamzat Chimaev. I appreciate that a lot. I really like watching that kind of shit, okay? We're going to skip ahead 5 seconds. 4:14 on the clock. Khamzat's popping Burns with some jabs here, dude, which I don't know if he's going to be able to out-jab Usman. Usman's jab, to me, is a little nicer. See, pops, he's in southpaw. Where does his hand go? Khamzat. Now, to be fair, his sparring footage showed that he's looking pretty sharp, right? As of late, he's been posting some sparring footage. He looks fucking diesel, dude. But regardless, that's a bad habit. And that's because offensively, it is very easy to be bystantial offensively. If you're a coordinated athletic individual, you can throw nice shots from your non-dominant stance. So like my left hook is better than my right hook. So if I'm in a southpaw position, I get way more power on that left hook than I would in an orthodox position. My body kick from my left leg is way harder in a southpaw position than in a orthodox position than on my right leg. So like there are certain moves and attacks that I am better at in southpaw as opposed to orthodox. I'm right-handed, obviously. The hard thing is though, and this is why a lot of coaches don't really like it when guys do this in the gym, unless you've been there for a while and they know you and they know your reaction and all this shit. So it's harder to be defensively responsible from your non-dominant stance. It's weird, man, because some shit is fine, right? It's like baseball. I always found this so strange. In baseball, dude, give me a fucking left-handed glove, which goes on the right hand. I would suck. Okay, but my left hand is so good at catching that I used to back catch for a kid that ended up getting drafted to the MLB. I was the only one that was willing to get behind the plate to back catch for him because at 13 years old, he was throwing like 75 miles an hour. But it's just weird that like certain hands, even if it's not your dominant hand, can do things better than your dominant hand, right? So he's sticking it out, but every time it goes back down to the waist, and I really hope that he fixes that. Not that I should be telling Khamzat Chimaev how to fight, but that's clearly a glaring hole. Nice straight left hand. Gets countered right through the guard. Dude, that's a beautiful shot, and that fucking wobbles him. This guy's got a hell of a chin, I swear to God. I'm going to skip ahead now to right here. Okay, Burns lands a good leg kick there. Burns lands another good leg kick here. Usman doesn't throw a whole lot of leg kicks, but he might implement it, right? If you've got a glaring weakness, like you're susceptible to leg kicks, it might be a good idea to invest in some leg kicks. Like, for instance, I mean, it ended very, very fucking dramatically and unfortunately, but Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier in that third fight, Conor came out there blasting legs because he thought, fuck you, dude. You wrecked mine. Like, I'm going to do it back to you. And he probably drilled leg kicks because he thought, yeah, that fucked me up. That's going to fuck him up too. You know what I mean? Anyways. And then Gilbert gives a little twist and shout, sticks him with a right hand. Beautiful shit. Ducks under his counter and is able to almost land that left hook. We are now going to wait till it says 30. No, 11's fine. Skip ahead to 310, okay? This is just a little... Yeah, I've already showed you guys this again, but I just wanted to show it. Look at where his hand goes after his jab. I didn't realize how many times he's done it. We're only 2 minutes in. And it happened in round number 1, so I don't know that this has anything to do with him being tired. But later on, we see him start to do it with his dominant hand, right, in orthodox, which I think that is a pretty good indicator that he is tired. And then we see a front kick from Chimaev that misses. Burns kind of parries that, misdirects his right hand offering. And then we see good moment coming up here, by the way. Just bear with me. Khamzat Chimaev tries the same little feint to the body, come over the top with the right hand because Burns' hand is going to come out to parry it. But what does Burns do? Oh, it turns into an uppercut. Burns goes over the top, hits him in the back of the head, kind of drops him. I think this was more just an off-balance thing because of the way that the punch landed. Obviously, Burns did not intend for it to land that way, but we're going to skip ahead to 250 on the clock, I guess, for fuck's sakes. Burns lands a right hand. Left hand. Khamzat whiffs on that uppercut pretty fucking badly. But look at orthodox position. Beautiful straight jab. Where does his hand go? Right back to his face. See? It is harder to be defensively responsible in your non-dominant stance. And that's the problem. Michael Chandler, we saw this with the Michael Chandler common opponent video. It's just not natural, right? You can throw a punch from that side, but bringing it back, there's just certain things that are hard for you to train your body to do. We're going to skip ahead to 210 on the clock. We get a good exchange here from these two gentlemen, okay? Not very gentle, but regardless. Big left hook from Burns goes around the guard of Khamzat Chimaev, and he sticks him with a beautiful straight right hand. Khamzat gets backed up from that. That is nice shit from Gilbert Burns. And keep in mind, dude, Usman's got a longer reach. That punch might land harder. And his straight punches, in my opinion, are better technically than Gilbert Burns's. Gilbert Burns throws with a lot of power, and I don't know who would be more powerful, whether it would be Burns or Khamzat, or Burns or Usman. But Usman's straight punches seem to be fucking some freaky thing. You know what I mean? Like, Burns couldn't KO Masvidal, whereas Usman killed him. And then we never saw the Jorge Masvidal again. Jab to the body from Burns. Right, so Khamzat's in close range still, right? We're almost at the end of round 2, and he's still getting touched from shit like this from Burns. Whereas at this point in the Kamaru Usman fight, Burns was whiffing on almost everything because Usman had figured out his range. So Khamzat likes to be a little bit closer to mount his offense, as opposed to a guy like Usman who likes to keep guys at the end of his range. So it's going to be interesting to see if Khamzat can get through Usman's long attacks to get in close into the pocket, because if he can, Usman's not great in the pocket. His hooks and his uppercuts and shit like this are not his bread and butter. His bread and butter are his 1-2, right? So it's going to be interesting to see. Big counter right from Khamzat Chimaev. See, he likes to throw hooks. Like, he's got a nice jab and shit, and he'll stick out a good right hand from time to time, but he likes to be in there. He gets stuck with a good fucking jab right there too. What the fuck? Why did I... Burns whiffs on that jab. Why the fuck do I have this noted this time? Let's see what happens, I guess. Burns shoots a takedown. Very strange. Khamzat, beautiful sprawl, by the way. Okay, perfectly. Gets away. And then he tries to get a dominant position, but Burns immediately, dude, with those legs. Okay? With those legs. Look at that. And Khamzat then is like, fuck, and he can't really do much. He tries to land some shots, but Gilbert Burns, shades of Kevin Hall and Jacare Souza. Check this shit out, dude. Good hammer fists from the bottom. He's getting good leverage there. The way that he's turned over, you can get a lot of leverage like that, and he lands a few good ones. And in my opinion, he actually hurt Khamzat Chimaev, because the way that he kicks him off right here is not, like, that is uncharacteristic of Khamzat Chimaev to just fall backwards like that. I think that Burns hurt him with some of those hammer fists, and that's why he got fucking sent back the way that he did. We're gonna skip ahead to 32 seconds. 30 fucking, it won't be 32, but whatever, dude. 34 is fine, I guess. Okay, we see Gilbert Burns here land a something coming up. What the fuck? Good leg kick, good inside leg kick, sweeps leg out from under Khamzat. That probably hurt both of them, but that was a good inside leg kick. Good left hand over the top also. See, look how close they are. Look how close their fucking feet are, right? At this point in the fight with Usman and Burns, there was like a 3-foot fucking gap in between their feet, right? Usman was like, no, I gotta back up a little bit. That's the problem. Okay. Then we get another exchange here. Nice jab, splits the guard completely of Khamzat Chimaev. Khamzat calls him in. Gilbert, look, beautiful punch to the body also. That was smart, because Khamzat was covering up with a high guard. Khamzat tags him with a right hand. And then we see Burns counter with another left, okay? And get out of the way of that whiffing, that fucking winging right hand, okay? Oh, good from Burns, man, right? He reacted to that feint, but then he threw back a counter immediately. That's good shit. That kind of lands... That looked like it went through the guard, actually, if I'm being honest, around the guard of Burns. This is a very good portion of this fight. I forgot how incredible this fight was, man. I'm just going to keep fucking pausing, though. Okay? Khamzat comes in. Big uppercut. He fucking, like, dude, Gilbert Burns' head snaps back from that. And then they clinch up a little bit. Khamzat tries to land some more shit. Big right hand from Khamzat right there. Burns comes over the top with that, though, dude. His counter right hook is fucking phenomenal. The thing is, though, is Khamzat never really figured it out, man. Whereas Kamaru Usman had figured this out, right? But even by the beginning of round 2, Burns wasn't able to really land on him again. And then whiffs on that uppercut. Burns slips back, gets out of the way, comes over the top with yet another one, wraps around the back of the head. Unfortunate, but that finally sends Khamzat down, because I have no fucking idea how he was able to stay up. And thank God that missed, okay? Because that would have been bad. If that fucking landed, dude, that would have been real bad. And the fact that, honestly, dude, credit where it's due, these are nasty elbows. Those are borderline illegal. The fact that he was able to get a takedown after getting rocked like that is so fucking impressive to me, man. But anyways, we're going to skip ahead now to round number 3. There's still a few more things I want to show you guys. All right, here we are, 4 minutes and 5 seconds, round number 1. Okay, we are going to see Khamzat Chimaev stick out his jab again, But the only problem is, and look, do you guys remember that Kamaru Usman pull back right hand? You know what I mean? Sticks him with the jab, hand down to the waist. I could see Usman, who's got 1 inch reach advantage over Khamzat, not much, just sliding back and cracking him with a pull back right hand, because his striking has only gotten better since his fight with Gilbert Burns, right? So I just, you know, I don't know if it's, again, because he's tired or if it's because, you know, that's just a bad habit from Southpaw that he hasn't really been able to break. But my problem is like, if you're starting to fatigue, right, in round number 2, round number 3, good right hand from Khamzat, the CEO of EPO is going to fucking be there. You know what I mean? But it's cool. Also, the fact that he went, and as soon as he switched stances, and instead of throwing a jab, he threw the same hand that he just landed with the jab from Southpaw. Confused Burns, different angle, different range. Good shit from Khamzat Chimaev. Again, shows that he is not just fucking brawling. He's thinking, okay? And it's good shit. We're going to skip ahead now. Wait, hold on. No, we're not. Because Gilbert Burns does something. No, we're going to skip ahead. 3:34 on the clock. Gilbert Burns tried to shoot a takedown after getting hit with a jab a couple times. And then we see Khamzat Chimaev go right back to it, right? But where does his hand go this time? Back to his face, because he's an orthodox, right? So I think it is just a bad habit. Pops him again. Down. Is this fatigue or is this just a bad habit? Because, dude, that is a bad habit to do. And he wasn't doing it in orthodox up until just now, right? So if he is getting fatigued, and again, if Kamaru Usman is able to like survive the first round or two and they end up going 3-4-5, fuck, man, the CEO of EPO is gonna be there. And I don't know how, we've never seen Khamzat have to go 5 rounds. Pops him again with the jab, pops him again but with the right hand, and Gilbert counters with the left hand. These fucking guys, man. But the fact he's in the danger zone constantly, and which is something that Usman was able to not do, right? Like, he was able to get out of it. So, I don't know. Sticks the jab again. This is what see, he followed him, right? If you're throwing a 1-2, right? Like, Michael Chandler's right hand there would have gone right over top of Gilbert Burns, because he would have been doing it like he's hitting mitts. Whereas Khamzat Chimaev throws a jab, saw that he slipped, and then, I hit my fucking mic, followed him down with that right hand. So he's aware, he's thinking, this is good shit, and he actually hurts Gilbert Burns here. That probably landed borderline back of the head, but whatever, dude. That's happened a couple times in this fight from both guys. So, and then we see Khamzat start to unload. These are actually landing, getting through the guard, splitting. That one landed off elbow. That one got around. Burns throws back. Like, Khamzat lands that weird hammer fist. See, in this position right here, I feel as though Usman's like stepping back and maybe being a little bit more calculated. Khamzat wants to be in here, in the pocket, and fucking, you know, he's in the danger zone. But again, like, the amount of shots that Burns landed on Khamzat compared to the amount of shots he landed on Usman is fucking wild to see. Okay. And then we see Khamzat go for another takedown, right? Again, it's not like he didn't try to fucking grapple this fight. It's not like he just chose not to. He wanted to, but he was met with resistance that he wasn't willing to contend with. And we're going to skip ahead now to 2:31 on the clock. We get another good example of Khamzat's jab here from both stances, okay? He can throw it from southpaw, except he brings it back to his hip, and he's already began to bring it back to his hip from orthodox, which it does there. He looks like he's fucking jacking off now. Like, come on, bro. Back to your fucking head. And then it goes back up. Right? And I get this is in slow motion, so it might be a little bit disingenuous because it probably does come right back up after. That is still like half a second or 1 second that you're giving your opponent, and that is a fuck ton in a fight. Okay? That's a lot. So, we're going to skip ahead a few seconds. Nice jab to the body from Burns. That actually looked like it might have fucking winded him a little bit. But then we see Khamzat Chimaev land a few good shots here of his own. Jab kind of splits the guard. That definitely gets around the guard. Beautiful stuff from Khamzat Chimaev. See, he's being accurate, right? Like, there's guys, again, like Michael Chandler probably would have gone off like glove or arm. But Khamzat kind of like tucks it in there. He's not just throwing to throw. Okay. Beautiful jab. Look at Burns' face there. Jesus Christ. But then he swings back. Which, dude, I'm not trying to, like, whatever, but I wonder if Usman's power is I wonder if Usman has more power. in his hands than Khamzat Chimaev does. Because we haven't seen Khamzat like fucking starch someone at 170. I think that Khamzat Chimaev's power might be more applicable. Sorry, I don't know why the fuck I said it like that. Applicable at middleweight. Whiffs on that right hand. Jesus Christ, dude. This fight was incredible. That is a good body kick from Khamzat Chimaev. We don't see a lot of that from him, in this fight at least, but that is a good way to keep your opponent at bay, and it's something that Kamaru Usman is also very good at. Misses the jab and gets countered with the right hand again. He is always in the fucking danger zone. We're going to skip ahead just 10 seconds, okay? Mike Beltran, get the fuck out of the way. Okay. Burns gets off the cage. He cracked him there with a good right hand. Look at that. Now, Khamzat goes to parry with his lead hand, or rear hand, pardon me, which is fine. That's all good. But then Burns notices that and just changes the angle a bit. Goes right in between that guard. That is beautiful stuff from Gilbert Burns. I really fucking like that. We're going to skip ahead 5 seconds. Khamzat Chimaev goes to throw a leg kick, and Gilbert again times it as he does. That one looks like it landed on chest, but still on one leg, off balance. Good stuff from Gilbert Burns. We are going to skip ahead 5 seconds. Gilbert Burns here sticks him with the jab, or pardon me, he does not. I want to watch this back. He paused with the left hand. This is beautiful, actually, from Gilbert Burns. This might be my favorite moment in this whole fight. This is really good footwork, dude. Okay, watch this shit. This is phenomenal. Whoops, I just knocked my desk. Okay. Pause with the left hand, right? Not to. Look how far apart his legs are right now, okay? Very far apart, right? Just within a split second, though. One little lateral, like, little sidestep thing. He is in perfect position to, boom. That was a nice angle cut by Gilbert Burns there, and I appreciate that shit a lot. That is very high level. That was very good footwork. Love seeing that kind of shit. Well, loads up on a right hand and fucking whiffs on it. That's okay. Sticks him with the jab. We're going to skip ahead now to 48 seconds on the clock. Burns, this is the problem I have. See, we're at the end of the fight, right? You've been dealing with this guy's range, with this guy's shots for 14 minutes now. 14 minutes and 13 seconds. You still haven't figured it out. And I'm not trying to shit on Khamzat, but I'm just saying that I think that Kamaru Usman might have the advantage in the sense that he's able to make adjustments on the fly better. He's able to stick to a game plan. He's able to like make reads more, because this shot at this point, like in round number 2, Burns is whiffing on Usman, right? Whereas here, these have all the tell in the world, and he's still landing them 3 or 4 in a row, and Khamzat's just calling them in, which means he's aware that they're coming, and he still isn't getting out of the way. He still isn't blocking them. Burns lands that shot, and, you know, that one whiffs, and that's about it. But anyways, dude, I'm going to conclude now. We'll see what... Okay, so my conclusion is, okay, the reason that I initially predicted that Kamaru Usman would get the job done is because of the following. His striking is less sloppy, and he is much more defensively responsible. He's very good at making adjustments on the fly. He's very good at making reads, especially defensively. Okay, the fact that this fight is set to take place at welterweight, okay, or at least has been rumored to be. It seems that Khamzat Chimaev's power is a little more applicable at middleweight when he's got a bit of extra weight on him than it is at welterweight, okay? If he faces someone if Khamzat has to face somebody that can give him problems with either getting the takedown or, you know, have enough resistance on the mat, which I don't think Usman would. I think that Usman's going to give him trouble getting the takedown, though. It seems like he doesn't want to gas himself out, and he ends up abandoning that altogether. And then his striking, while looks better from the sparring footage we've seen, if we look at this fight, is much more sloppy than Kamaru Usman's can. I know, you know, one thing that I would be really interested in is if Usman is not able to keep Khamzat Chimaev at range, and Khamzat Chimaev is able to get inside the pocket on Usman, that would be really interesting to see their striking exchanges there, because Kamaru Usman is not that good in the pocket. He wants to be at range. He wants to be sticking you with the jab. He wants to be teeping you to the body, which I don't think he'll be able to do because the threat of the takedown is there. Anyways, man. Also, one other thing that's very interesting. I don't know who I'm going to pick eventually, right? My initial thought was Usman because I don't think that he's washed. But Usman seemed to struggle with Gilbert Burns bum rushing him, right? And nobody else has really done that. Like Jorge Masvidal didn't do that. Colby Covington didn't do that. Like I can't think of anybody that did that against Usman. Not even Leon Edwards. If we're being like, I don't. It's the way that Burns did that was different than the way anybody else did that, and it seemed that it gave Usman trouble. Khamzat Chimaev is so fucking aggressive that I could see him giving Usman problems early on, and I feel as though if Khamzat Chimaev is gonna get the job done, it'll probably be an early finish. Anyways, dude, that's the end of this video. Common opponent, Gilbert Burns, Usman versus Chimaev. Hopefully they make that fight for October. I'm very excited for it, and thank you for watching. Greatly appreciate it. Like and subscribe. See you at the next video. Bye-bye.